as of tonight, is now the first state to require the 10 Commandments to be displayed in every public school classroom in the state.
Who likes the 10 Commandments, by the way, going up in the schools? They think it's such a bad thing. I said, has anyone read the "Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt..." I mean, has anybody read this?
Howdy, fellow Americans. This is T-Pain USA, and welcome to another episode of the Really American T-Cast. So let's all be model citizens today, shall we? And let's kick off this show with a like and a subscribe, and then prepare to go up on the mount with old T-Pain as Trump takes on Moses in an old-school Texas cage match and goes mano-a-mano with the 10 Commandments. Seems like every time we turn around, there's some red state governor out there who swears they're a constitutional conservative that tries to out-crazy the last red state governor that tried to subvert their beloved Constitution with an attack on the Bill of Rights. This time, it was the Louisiana governor that decided to force his citizenry to follow the 10 Commandments by breaking the First Amendment. You know, it hits T-Pain funny that on one hand, there's 10 Commandments, and on the other hand, there's 10 amendments in the Bill of Rights. But the funnier part is, them right-wing nutballs have neither read nor kept any of them. Well, anyway, the story wasn't out 5 minutes until Trump had to make it all about himself, as usual. Trump hopped on Truth Social, which T-Pain feels obliged to point out is neither, and proclaimed to the world just how much he loves the 10 Commandments. Now, at this point, T-Pain began to question whether there was a God at all. How could an all-powerful, all-knowing, benevolent deity permit the worst human being alive to open his mouth and utter such an abomination without going all Old Testament on him? So seeing that there was no divine intervention, here's an idea. Why don't we take these 10 Commandments that Trump loves so much and see how he fares up against them, shall we? Like a cross between the Dave Letterman Show and old Casey Kasem, we're going to do a top 10 countdown and see how Trump's actions stack up against God's top 10 "thou shalt nots," shall we? So strap on your Taurus, folks, and hang on. Don't you wonder what Moses might have to say about this?
God, you are not worthy to receive these 10 Commandments.
So let's go, shall we? Starting at the end and counting backwards, that lands us at number 10. Thou shalt not covet. What a place to start, right? To be totally honest with you, we don't use the word covet much anymore. We say greed instead. Right, Donald?
Turn down money because that's not what I've done in my whole life. I grab and grab and grab. You know, I get greedy. I want money, money.
All right, next up, number 9. Thou shalt not bear false witness, or thou shalt not lie. Now, the reason Trump is beloved by the Republican Party ain't because he's the smartest, nor because he's the best looking or the most powerful. It's because he can outlie them all. Roll the tape.
Speaking in Arkansas tonight, he accused Ted Cruz of voter fraud and said the results should be nullified. He tweeted, "Ted Cruz didn't win Iowa, he stole it. That is why all the polls were so wrong."
As the presidential nominee for the Republican Party, Trump hasn't allowed science or evidence to change his initial reaction to the case. Just this week, Trump said he still considers the men, again, exonerated by the criminal justice system and by DNA scientific evidence, guilty.
The president's line got worse and worse the longer he was president.
Now we're looking at number 8. Thou shalt not steal. Now, Donald might slip by on this one, provided you don't include stealing from charities and the American taxpayer and, well, elections in general.
All right, President Trump has agreed to shut down his charity called the Trump Foundation. New York Attorney General Barbara Underwood is suing the charity, President Trump and his 3 oldest children. She details what she calls, quote, a shocking pattern of illegality. The Washington Post found the president took money for charity and then used it to pay legal bills instead. and to buy artwork for one of his clubs.
The former president's real estate company was convicted on 17 counts. New York City prosecutors saying the family business ran a culture of fraud and deception. The Trump organization doling out luxury perks to executives like fancy cars and apartments, and none of which they paid taxes on.
Look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Shoot, we're only at number 8, and Donald's already violated the 3-strike rule, a veritable hat trick of biblical transgressions. So don't stop now, Donald. You're on a holy roll. So this brings us to number 7. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Whew. All T-Pain can say is, holy crap, roll the tape.
Report tonight alleging that Donald Trump had an extramarital affair with a Playboy model. First Lady Melania Trump drove to Air Force One separately from the president today.
Daniels has been detailing her first meeting with former President Trump, the sexual encounter she says they had, including revealing testimony about the days and years after that alleged sexual encounter as well.
Bet you didn't know MAGA stands for Make Adultery Great Again, did you? All righty. Number 6, thou shalt not kill. Now, for just a minute, overlook the fact that millions of Americans died due to Trump's reckless COVID policies. And forget the foreign agents that have disappeared due to his theft and dissemination of state secrets. Trump ain't really gone out on Fifth Avenue and shot anyone. Yet. But he's got his team of lawyers all the way up to the Supreme Court arguing that it's his right to do so. Check it out.
Donald Trump's legal team told the Supreme Court today that a president killing their rival might be an official action protected by immunity.
The bad news? Trump's all for killing. But the good news? He wants to make it legal. Well, all righty. We're halfway through at number 5. Honor thy father and mother. Now, Trump is a great respecter of fathers and mothers, except when it comes to Gold Star fathers and mothers. Remember all this?
Has been under fire for his critical comments about the Muslim parents of an American soldier who was killed during the Iraq War.
Now, just like Trump's campaign, we're headed straight to the bottom. Checking in at number 4 is remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Now, do you notice how important the 10 Commandments are to Trump? But he never seems to find the time to go to church, unless you consider our sacred mother of the back 9. Well, to be totally honest, there was this one time Trump went to church, but it was just for a photo op. But there's another point that deals with the Sabbath, and also ties back to the previous honor thy father and mother commandment. And that's how Trump observes some of the great Sabbaths of the year, Mother and Father's Day. Remember this one from last Mother's Day? Happy Mother's Day to all, in particular, the mothers, wives, and lovers of the radical left fascist, Marxists, and communists who are doing everything in their power to destroy and obliterate our once great country. Touching, ain't it? Now, folks, if you like anything that T-Pain's doing in these videos, just take a moment and go over to Amazon.com and check out T-Pain USA and books, and you'll find out that T-Pain's got 2 political bestsellers he's offering. Check them out. All right, good news. We're at number 3. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain. Check this out.
I never have liked you, and you never have liked me, but you're going to support me because you're a rich guy. And if you don't support me, you're going to be so goddamn poor, you're not going to believe it.
Now we come to the big 2, as T-Pain calls them. And these 2 commandments got the children of Israel in trouble more times than they could count. Thou shalt not make no graven images. Now, it turns out MAGA didn't fashion a golden calf like the children of Israel. So what image did they wrought of their plump Messiah who's famous for pooping on gold toilets? Behold, the golden ass.
This one is scratched up. And then I got
This is your boy.
Woo. Well, if that wasn't blasphemous enough, it's time to check out number 1. Thou shalt have no gods before me. MAGA claims to be a white Christian nationalist movement. Surely they of all people would know better than to worship any man as if he were a god, right? Right? Surely they would not have the audacity to worship Trump as a deity, right? Right?
దేవునిలాగా పూజించుకుంటున్నాను. నేను ఎక్కడికైనా వెళ్తే ఆయన ఫోటో చూసి నేను బయటికి వెళ్తుంటాను నేను.
What more can be said than thank God we're here in Sunset Park to worship and bring back the greatest president we've ever known in our generation.
Well, there you have it, folks. If you've been keeping score at home, you know it's Commandments 10, Trump 0. Turns out there's no commandment God can create that Trump can't break. And has anyone seen a single Trump supporter speak out against a single one of Trump's transgressions? Heck no. If MAGA ever spent a single moment opening their Bibles and reading from them, they know exactly how this is going to turn out for them.
Those who will not live by the law shall die by the law.
T-Pain out.